Jaylen Brown reveals full extent of wrist injury after Celtics win. As the playoffs draw near, the Boston Celtics will need a roster with impeccable health. That includes Jaylen Brown, who has been dealing with an injury lately. After the Celtics beat the Oklahoma City Thunder on April 3rd, Brown revealed the full details of his latest injury. "I think I got a sprain or a strain in a ligament in my hand, but I think it's fine," said Brown, according to Noah Dalzell's account. "It's something I'm not concerned with moving forward. It bothered me a little bit tonight, but part of it is working through it, playing through it, because it gives you a little bit more information down the line if things were to get any worse. But I think it's nothing to be concerned about." The Celtics clinched home court advantage throughout the playoffs with their win over the Thunder. Brown made it sound like his injury is not serious, but the Celtics can afford to rest him for the rest of the regular season should they deem it necessary. Brown also does not have to worry about playing enough games to qualify for accolades such as All-NBA and All-Defense. Since he's played 67, he met the 65-game criteria to qualify. Al Horford vouches for Jaylen Brown's All-Defense campaign. Horford believes his Celtics teammate has a case to make an NBA All-Defense team. In fact, Horford made his case for Brown to make the team. He wants the responsibility on the defensive end, Horford told reporters, per Taylor Snow's account. "A lot of people may say they want those challenges, but he's facing all types of different players. He's guarding Stephen Curry, he's guarding Zion Williamson, just different guys that he has to match up against. Being very unbiased, very clear, he's first-team All-Defense. He deserves to be in that position." Horford himself has made an NBA All-Defense team during his second season with the Celtics in 2018. Brown has never made it, but he has received other accolades like the All-Star team and All-NBA. Jaylen Brown sends cryptic message. Before the Celtics played the Thunder, Brown took to his personal account to post a rather cryptic message. "You might not appreciate it now, but you will in time." Brown did not elaborate on what he was talking about, but it may be related to the Celtics being as good as they were during the 2023-24 season. The Celtics have clinched home court advantage throughout the playoffs for the first time since winning the title in 2008 and may potentially be the only team that wins 60 games. He has sent cryptic messages before that would appear to refer to the Celtics. When the Celts struggled to keep their heads above water in 2022, he posted on his account that the energy is about to shift. The Celtics then went from fighting for the play-in to the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference standings, which led to them making the NBA Finals. The Celtics have been playing at a historic level this season. Brown may be telling fans that as great as the times have been, they should appreciate it because it won't last forever. Traded Boston Celtics guard can serve as warning for future. Celtics blog columnist Bobby Manning believes that Delano Banton, who was dealt at the trade deadline, could serve as a warning for the Boston Celtics after his rise with the Portland Trail Blazers following his departure from the CS. Manning cited another name that might sting for Celtics fans to hear, Aaron Nesmith, as a similar example of a player they seemingly gave up on too soon. Did Brad Stevens commit a fatal mistake in the negotiations? It's too early to say if dumping the latter will cost Boston, more focused on its championship pursuit than the long haul, but it could provide some warning against moving on from a young player too soon, Manning prefaced before saying, Aaron Nesmith emerged in a similar manner at Indiana and the Celtics never filled their 15th roster spot. Did the Boston Celtics give up on a future champion? Banton was traded for a heavily protected second-round pick, essentially nothing in layman's terms, but has elevated his scoring to a career-high 16 points per game in 27 minutes per game with the Trail Blazers. Delano Banton wouldn't have gotten the same opportunities with the Boston Celtics. Did Boston give up on Banton too soon? Perhaps, but the way he was playing before he was dealt, shooting 37% from the field and 12% from the three-point line, it didn't seem like he would contribute to a championship roster anytime soon. Jaden Springer, who along with Xavier Tillman, represents Brad Stevens' low-risk, high-reward trade deadline haul, has already shown more potential as a fit. His offensive game hasn't come along yet, but his defensive prowess has been evident in 13 appearances. Did the Boston Celtics waste Delano Banton's potential? Banton may end up being the best player, and there may be a point where a need at point guard could have been filled by the former short-term Celtic. But you can't fault Stevens for his deadline moves since very few could have predicted such an outburst from the Nebraska product. Celtics break another NBA record and Thunder win. The Celtics have been dominating the rest of the NBA this season, and they will officially finish with the league's best record. After Wednesday's win over the Thunder, the Celtics improved to 60-16 on the season. Not only did they reach the 60-win mark, but no other NBA team will pick up that many victories this season. Are the Celtics unstoppable in the title race? As part of a dominant 135-100 win over a shorthanded Thunder squad, the Celtics set another NBA record. It's the 16th time this season the Celtics have put together a 25-point win, which is the most in NBA history, according to Dick Leip of NBC Sports Boston. Three other squads, Bucks in 1970-71, 1971-72, and the Spurs in 2015-16, had 15 such wins each, but the Celtics overcame them all. We celebrated as much as we brought it in, shaking everyone's hand and saying don't take it for granted, said Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla about the NBA best record. Yeah, we celebrated it. I think that's important to not take it for granted. I think it's important to have gratitude for that. It's very hard to do. We may never be in this position again, so you don't want to take it for granted. We definitely talked about it as a team. Is the Thunder's absence an excuse for the defeat? Now, the Thunder didn't have their top two scorers in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams. Still, the Celtics took care of business Wednesday. There have been a few games where the Celtics let their play slip when the opposition wasn't at full strength, and that's burned them at times. Did Brad Stevens hit the mark again with his game strategy? But in the locker room, Mazzulla spoke about treating Wednesday like a clinching game. The Celtics still have 6 games left in the regular season over the next 1.5 weeks. But they won't have much to play for as they can instead smooth out lineups and looks. They'll also make sure to keep their rotation players fully healthy ahead of what they hope will be a deep playoff run. We have to find for each of these games, as we're heading toward the end of the season, some sort of motivation, said Kristaps Porzingis. And tonight was a night where it was like, if we win this game, we could achieve something. Joe just kind of poked us a little bit and got us going for the game, knowing that we could clinch it, and we went out there and took care of business. Don't forget to leave your like to show your support for the team and, of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any electrifying moment of the NBA season.